the power to kill, the power to cause pain, the power to inflict death and suffering. It's the only power that matters. And if you don't have it, or if you're unwilling to do it, you'll always be at the mercy of those who can, and nothing and no one will ever save you. Hey people, it's Neos talking. Now, for those of you who follow my channel, you know I first talked about Black Panther a while back. It was one of the first things I talked about. And long story short, the film was good. I enjoyed it, and I expected it to be a good film. But that's not really what I'm here to talk about, because people who know me know how all my stance is. Now, Sean James once said, if you control people's image and how they see themselves, you can control those people. And Professor Black Truth said, the white media is not in the business of entertainment. The white media is in the business of propaganda. And I saw lots of it. Now, when I saw T'Challa and Killmonger arguing, when Killmonger turns up and he's trying to say Wakanda has the power to liberate black people worldwide, and he says my loyalty and my responsibility is to be with Wakanda, and it reminded me of black Christians. You know how your Bible thumpers will use that to say we forgive people who kill blacks, and refuse to fight white supremacy. This is what Jesus would want. Now, I'm not an expert in the Bible, but I do know enough about Jesus, and I don't know what part of the Bible where Jesus just sits around doing nothing while evil people are fighting and oppressing people. Where is that? Where is that? And there's lots of things I've seen. The Wakandans, they talk about how he's filled with hate. It's very easy for the Wakandans to have this kind of mentality because they've gone south. They sit in luxury. They have all their needs met. The rest of the world is a harsh place for the black race. There is no safety. There is no comfort. There is no luxuries. Well, for the majority. And they talk to him as if he's filled with hate. And then they talk about how this is one of the things I saw. They said, the female god, they said, oh, Killmonger is an outsider, even though they verify that he is of royal blood and he defeated him, T'Challa, in the ritual that is the custom. And they team up with the white CIA agent to defeat Killmonger and to stop him giving the weapons to the blacks worldwide. And this presents it as a good thing. And one thing I saw in another criticism of the film, they said, oh, what do you call it? There's no, that even with Wakanda's weaponry, that would be enough to liberate blacks worldwide, or at least gain ownership of the world. The thing is that you don't need to necessarily obtain victory. If you ever study the history of Yugoslavia, like I did, there's a country in it called Montenegro, and that means Black Mountain. Yes, that's a real place. In the history of Montenegro, the Ottoman Turks tried to take it, but they couldn't, because it was just so much time, effort, and resources to win that eventually they just gave up. And that's how Montenegro retained its independence throughout the centuries. You don't have to win, you just have to make it apparent to your enemy. The victory just makes the price so high that they just don't want to pay it. And that's the thing, in order to gain black liberation, even within the film's context, it doesn't necessarily mean they have to win. They just have to make it apparent that the price of the oppression is just too much to keep going. And when I was looking at Killmonger, I saw someone who had the will to win. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, I made a post and I tagged it in one of the bubbles, which is labeled the black race needs to be more like Thanos. And I admired Thanos when I saw him in the film and when I saw the reviews of it. And there's a lot the black race could learn from other races. I mean, do you know in the Soviet Union, when the Nazis attacked, they destroyed everything that couldn't be taken. Scorched entire cities, fields, industries, left nothing behind. They'd rather destroy it than let the enemy have it. And that's the spirit that Killmonger had. When Claw held his girlfriend hostage and said, let me go or I'll take her. He decided to shoot her rather than let him have that hold over him. And there's one thing I want to say, that the Wakandans, like when we talked about morality and about this, I want people to understand something. This world is not a fairy tale. It's not like that. There's a line from the Lord of War where he said, they say that evil succeeds when good men fail to act, but they should call it evil prevails. I want to add my own thing to that. The only place in this world where you can have the moral high ground is when you stand upon a mountain of death. The people who refuse to fight, the people who talk about, I'm not going to do that in order to win, they get destroyed by those who will. That's the meaning of the quote I put up there. And when they talked about opening Wakanda, they opened up Wakanda in order to, give aid to the outside world. And I just thought of it as absolutely ridiculous because it ignores reality. And it reminded me of like how after all these Black Lives Matter protests, they said we'll just do a few surface veneers, we'll write Black Lives Matter or we'll take the labels of this or that. So the King of Wakanda, rather than give the black race in America the means to fight back, he'll build a mega community center. You know, the cops will kill you, but hey, you can come here and have a bit of fun. Ridiculous. And, people who follow me know that I'm a Muslim. And one thing I want to say this. When I was watching the film, you can follow whatever you want. This ancestral practice, Ifa, voodoo, ancestor worship. You can have your own altar. But I've always just looked at it with logic. If that stuff worked, it wouldn't be in servitude. The fact is, what is the purpose of all this culture and these customs if you're still oppressed? Because I've often watched these pro-blacks and they'll say this and this religion is fake. But those who have this fake religion made it their own and they conquered you with the real one, according to you. So, how much value does your truth have over the quote-unquote lie? Sorry folks, I'm a bit struck in thought. But I want to show you, there's this book I'm reading. Where is it? Let me get to, here it is. The name of the Book of Family Traditions on the Art of War, Yagyu Monenori. This is 2-in-1, which came with the Book of 5 Rings by Miyamoto Musashi. Now let me go to page 101. It is biased to think that the art of war is just for killing people. It's not to kill people. It is to kill evil. It is a strategy to give life to many people by killing the evil of one person. The idea that if you destroy one evil, you could stop the evils of many others. That's what Killmonger was really trying to do in the film. They want to say that he wanted to cause death and suffering. But if he stops the death and suffering that is inflicted by the oppressor, is he not saving many, many more? And the whole film, when I viewed it, it reminded me of like the Trojan horse. You give your enemy a gift, and that gives them the means to destroy them. Because I want you to understand something. I've said this before. The whole film, Wakanda, it has some poisonous messages like, open up Wakanda to the outside world. Egypt and all these other black societies, when they open up the outside world and share them their knowledge and their resources, they use them to destroy them. Anyway, I think that I've said all that I needed to say. So anyway, peace.